How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today we're pulling the wrap on the Z, getting it prepped for the new color change coming up soon. The wrap is on its way from TinyBot, and obviously that'll be the next video, wrapping the car. But today I wanted to document kind of the process of pulling wrap on a car. We've been letting it sit outside for a little bit, so it's getting warm, malleable, and it's gonna be easier to pull. The wrap has been on for about 1.5 years now, and I think I've done a pretty good job of maintaining it. Obviously this car's been drifted, so there's gonna be edges that have been scraped and stuff on the bottom half of the car. But without further ado, let's get into the intro, and then we'll get into the bulk of pulling the wrap and kind of explaining how that process goes. So, welcome back. Alright, so as the garage doors open up, as you can see, the car right there, sitting nice and pretty. It's a bit cloudy today, but it's still like 100 degrees out, so it should be nice and warm enough. We're gonna try just with the hood as a test spot, and as you guys know, the car's blue underneath, so we're gonna try to pull all the wrap off, see how it goes. We're leaving the roof black. Obviously, there's no point in re-wrapping that, and that wrap is pretty fresh. So we'll get to it. I'll film kind of how it goes. Alright, so as you guys can see, my dad's helping us out today. We already got this fender done over here. It did pull a little bit of paint here, but I don't think that's from the wrap. This car obviously was drifted with the wrap on, and so we have a lot of rubbing from the tire when it was at full lock, and I think it caught the lip here through the wrap and kind of just did that when we pulled it. I'm doing the hood right now, getting all the lips out. Hood still looks pretty good. The marks that are here were here before, so I kind of expected that, but the paint in general looks really good. Car looks so goofy right now as it's two-toned, but we're gonna get it back down to blue. We're starting with the front half of the car. I think we're saving bumper for last, hopefully. And then we're just gonna work around, get it all prepped, and get it ready for when the new wrap shows up. So, doing pretty good so far. And it's gonna be fun to see this car blue again. Hey. All right, so we made a lot of progress when I put the camera down. It got extremely hot, so we kind of wanted to power through. But, mostly blue. Obviously there's still yellow front bumper and then the side skirts, but overall, she's looking like her original color again. Obviously there's gonna be corners, so I gotta pull handles off, rear antenna, stuff like that. But she's almost all blue again, and honestly, I kind of missed it, dude. It looks really good, especially with the clears. We never really got to experience the clears with the blue, and this looks really good. But there's a bunch of corners, obviously, that we're gonna have to clean up, pull some of that out, but so far so good. We're gonna go get lunch, and then we're gonna tackle the rest. But dude, the blue, with all the bits that we've added since it got wrapped, looks so tough. And the color I have coming is it's not a blue, but it's a similar dark metallic color, kind of to the OEM paint, so I'm excited. Should look really good, but I'm gonna enjoy the blue for a little bit. Obviously, if you guys don't know, the side skirts and front bumper, they're not painted, so this can be mismatched drift missile for a little bit, but a clean drift missile at that, so I'm not hating it. Let's go get lunch and then we'll revisit this. Also, quick side note, KBD, trash. I can't iterate this enough. I know KBD kits are easy to get, they look good. I hate these things, and I hate how they are so floppy, and how I just hate them. I hate them, and I will stand by that to the day I die. Fiberglass over KBD every day. I don't care if you can crash your car and the bumper stays good. Cool, that's awesome. I've experienced it. Fiberglass over it every day. You deal with the mounting issues and then like make it look good. Fiberglass over KBD all day. I'm just saying. Okay, so just finished. If you can't tell by the fact that I'm literally dripping sweat, that was hard. That wasn't easy. I think the hardest part is getting the corners and all the inlays and whatnot. And obviously we still have to disassemble before we get the new wrap on, but there's still wrap like tucked in crevices and stuff, like under the headlights here, or the mirrors here. And then door handle areas. So there's small things we gotta fix still, but the car's back to blue. It looks kind of trippy, man. I'll tell you what. It looks so good. I love this. So, honestly, the wrap held up really well. If it wasn't Arizona and it wasn't super hot out, I think that would have been way, way harder. But it was not too bad, and it went really smoothly. The only thing I gotta kind of have a tolerance about with the wrap was that some spots it seemed to stick better than others, and in some spots it did pull a little bit of clear coat off the fenders. Now I think that's from drifting and whatnot. But overall it was pretty good, and the ease of taking it off took about a few hours. And it really wasn't that bad, and most of the paint is unscathed, so not a bad process all in all. But we'll update you next time with probably disassembly of the car and figuring out what we have to do to get the wrap to actually work with the car. But for now, we're gonna enjoy it as it's blue with the unpainted bumpers, kind of a missile look. So yeah, not too bad. Just honest opinions, pretty good. Definitely got like heat exhaustion. That was brutal as hell. My fingers are blistering like a mother. But it was good, and it protected the paint pretty well. A lot of crevices, because when they wrapped it, they disassembled a lot of stuff to get a good tuck on it, and which is what I will end up doing is the same thing. But it is a lot of work, so taking it off, kind of just ripping stuff, not the best approach. I mean, maybe disassemble some things and do it the right way. But it turned out really good, and since the wrap's almost here, I'm not too worried about it. Once we start disassembling the car anyways for the new wrap, it should be better. So overall, 10 out of 10, would definitely do that again, just with gloves and a little bit cooler weather. But for the second half of this video, I actually fixed a problem that I created in Z a long time ago when I put the bucket seat in, and realized that the quick release was a little bit too close to my face. So for the last half of the video, guys, you guys are going to see me rewire my steering wheel and reassemble it without the quick release, and how to do it and not have an airbag light. So yeah. Alright, so today we're taking off the quick release on the Z. Now, I've had this quick release on for about 2 years now, and honestly, it's been totally fine. I don't really have any complaints with it, besides the fact that it gets hot as shit in the summer, and I'm kind of over the spacing of it. I originally put it on there when I had the stock seat to pull it back or push the wheel back further into me, but since we have the Sparko in, and I've been driving this for a while, and I did a few events with this setup, the wheel's too close, and it's nice for control. I can really move my hand around it pretty easily. But I'm kind of over it, so today we're going to take that off and kind of show you guys how we set up a aftermarket wheel on this car and how to do it correctly without throwing an airbag light and deactivating your entire airbag system, and how to get your horn to work as well, because people don't seem to know how to wire that. It's not that hard, but we'll start by taking off the old quick release mounts right here, and then we'll also take the wheel and take the other half, the quick release, off, and then we're just gonna mount it straight to the hub, show you how we have a ground for the airbag system, and then how we complete the relay for the horn. So all the tools we're gonna need are Allen keys. I'm gonna be using my old skate tool because this has the 3 sizes I will need for this setup. It might be different for everyone, depending on what wheel, what hub, and what you're going with. But we're working with an NRG quick release and an NRG hub here, which I'm gonna show you guys once I get inside. So as you can see, there's the quick release on the hub. It's going to be these Allens right here, and normally this is what, when you push the horn button, it'll complete the loop on here to connect the horn circuit, but I'll show you how we have wiring tucked behind here to do that. And if you can see, if this camera wants to focus, this little ring right here is actually our ground for our airbag, our SRS system. This allows the passenger airbag to still be active when there is no airbag, obviously, because we're putting in our own wheel. This allows that system to be completed and still have functionality in the event of a crash. Obviously there won't be an airbag deploying in front of you, but the passenger side airbag will still deploy. Is this legal? I don't know, but you know, you want to do it right, do this method, and I'll show you how to ground this off. Most hub kits or quick release kits will ship with these rings, NRG will for sure. And if it doesn't, definitely get one. They're not expensive, and it will allow you to install this completely and correctly. Right, so now that we have the quick release hub off, you can see this is the ring, and there's the ground running from the quick release. As you can see, there's our SRS systems connected and then grounded as well inside. That way you don't have that airbag light. This is all just part of that. This is for the horn, power, and ground, obviously. And I'm gonna start pulling off the wheel, or the hub side of the wheel, the quick release, and I'll show you what we're gonna disconnect here and reconnect. Now, if this is your first time going from an OEM wheel, depending on what manufacturer, if you have horn, you know, audio controls and all that, you're gonna have to run this a little bit differently based on your connections. But this is a base C, so it's pretty straightforward. I did this previously with my dad a long time ago when we first installed this, so this is all good to go, and all we're gonna have to really do is disconnect this spade and reconnect this ground once we get that disconnected and lined up here. Now, I'm keeping the original NRG screws in my pocket here. I'm gonna try to use the overdue wheels screws to go into these threads, but they might be different thread size, so we might have to use the silver hardware. This will all depend again on what hub you are running, what wheel you're running, what hardware you have. It's a bit of a game in figuring out what's gonna work. It shouldn't be too difficult. If you need to get new hardware, go do that. I highly recommend you use the right stuff. And also, don't forget to disconnect the battery for the first time doing this. Although I am not disconnecting the battery, I'm not disconnecting any SRS systems, I'm just doing the horn relay, or the horn ground and power, so it shouldn't be affected, you know, with the battery connected. So I'm switching out Allens just so I can use a small one. But as you can see, I'm quite literally just loosening, removing each bolt. Do not lose your bolts, don't lose your hardware. It's always an important part of this process. If you need to break torque on these, try not to do it with a ball end, if that will focus. Otherwise you'll round out your bolts. So try to use an actual squared or hex end. That way it'll actually grab and it won't completely destroy your little Allen. Got the quick release disconnected here. You can see this is where our ground goes, and this is where the power connected to on the inside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna disconnect this little guy in there with that tiny nut, take this ring, put it on the back of here, as one of these will be ground and the other's gonna be power from the actual inside the hub. And then we're gonna reinstall and everything should be a-okay. On quick releases, it's kind of the same process. You just connect these two guys to your actual horn button inside, and then when you engage the quick release, those two little gold prongs will contact these two gold prongs and allow that circuit to be complete. Power goes into here from the horn circuit, and then it grounds off on this ring. We're gonna do something similar, except we're gonna be using two prongs instead of this, which already has these nicely bolted spades. So I'll show you guys how we kind of set this up, and then you'll get the idea of it. Alright, so just to show you guys real quick what we got going on here. We got two females on each side. One's going to go to this ground ring right here, and the other one's going to go onto the negative. Now, either of these can be negative. Either of these can be negative or positive on the horn button. I'm just choosing this one over here because it seems to line up the best. And then before we final install everything, I'm going to get it all plugged up before I tighten down shit. I'm going to test to make sure the horn works and it's not constantly on, because that means the horn button's just grounding out on anything, which you don't want, obviously. So I'm going to get all this finished up, let this cool off after the solder and all that is good. Then we're going to connect it, see if it works, and then we'll tighten everything down and I'll show you guys how the final product looks. Okay, apologies, I'm extremely sweaty. It's bloody hot out today, but I just tested the relay. This does work, especially with the ground. Everything checks out. Horn doesn't just stay on, and it actually works when you press the button. So next, I'm gonna do my best to kind of film this, but all I'm gonna do is put the horn button back in through the wheel, and then I'm gonna put the ground ring, connect it, position it on here in a fashion that doesn't freak out, you know what I'm saying? Tighten everything down, and then I'll show you the final look, and I'll try to get the idea. This is going to be very much trial and error depending on how your wheel's set up. You just have to tuck the wires, make sure no grounds are kind of touching any other metal so it doesn't just stay on. This can take a few tries. Don't get discouraged. It just takes time. And that's all I can say. I'm going to get to it. It might take me a few minutes. And then I'll show you guys what the finished product looks like. Okay, I am absolutely drenched. That took like maybe 5 minutes, but it's just so hot in here. I got everything lined up. I'm going to start putting in the actual nuts. Horn works. And it's in a perfect position for me, and I'm very happy with the way it sits. So now we're just gonna keep adjusting, screwing it down, make sure nothing binds when we turn it, and we should be good to go. But it's not that bad. Pretty simple install, and yeah, we'll go over everything once I finish getting these screws in, and I can get out of the car, because look at this shit. I am drenched in sweat. Alright guys, so there we go. Got all of our bolts nice and tight on there. Everything's straight. As you can see, no more quick release in the back. And most importantly, horn works. So, pretty quick and easy install. Took me about 30 minutes. It looks like it might have taken me longer because I'm absolutely dripped in sweat right now. It is like 110 plus or whatever. I don't even know the actual temp, but there you go. That's how you quickly and easily install a aftermarket wheel. I didn't go over the hub in this video. I made a video on that a long time ago. I don't even know if it's still up, but you might be able to find it. But overall, 8 out of 10. I would say. Not the wheel I want, but hey, it looks really good. Everything's nice and tight. It doesn't feel like it's going to come off. Horn works. Airbag light isn't on. And overall, a great success. It's very easy to do. Just take your time. You might have to get some wire and do some splicing and things. If you're doing a quick release, it's pretty much the same process. You just have 2 extra layers, right? Because you got one in here that connects to the wheel, and then another one in here that connects to the actual hub. So overall, 10 out of 10. I know I said 8 out of 10, but 10 out of 10 install, not bad. If you guys want to watch more videos of us doing installs, drifting, stuff like that, don't forget to check the videos on the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed today's easy install on the Z. Just correcting an old mistake I made a long time ago, and I realized I didn't want it anymore. So thanks for watching. Let's get to the outro. I'll see you next time. Have a good night.